Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Diri Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24, text number 45 onwards. Vasudeve Bhagavati Sarvagya Pratyagatmani Parena Bhakti Bhavena Labdhatma Mukta Bandhana. He thus became liberated from conditioned life and became self-situated and transcendental devotional service to the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, the omniscient super soul within everyone. When one engages in the transcendental devotional service of the Lord, one becomes aware that his constitutional position as an individual soul is to be eternally a servitor of the Supreme Lord, Vasudeva. Self-realization does not mean that because the Supreme Soul and the individual soul are both souls, they are equal in every respect. The individual soul is prone to be conditioned and the super soul is never conditioned. When the conditioned soul realizes that he is subordinate to the Supreme Soul, his position is called self-realization or Mukta Bandhan, freedom from material contamination. Material contamination continues as long as one thinks that he is as good as a Supreme Lord or is equal with him. This condition is a last snare of Maya. Maya always influences the conditioned soul. Even after much meditation and speculation, if one continues to think himself one with the Supreme Lord, it is to be understood that he is still in the last snares of the spell of Maya. So, in this purport, Prabhupada is stressing on that a conditioned soul and our individual soul is separate from the super soul, Supreme Soul. So in the shloka also it is said, he means Kardamuni, thus became liberated from conditioned life and became self-situated in transcendental devotion service. So this is the self-realization. This is the path of self-realization. Not that I'm going to become one with God. That is, like Prabhupada said, that is the last snare of the spell of Maya. That's the last bondage that Maya keeps us here with, thinking that I am God. Of course, even the karmis, they don't think in that way that I am God, but the idea is that I want to enjoy, and Supreme Enjoyer is God. So basically, I think I can enjoy like God. So these ideas, these are the ones that keep us here. As soon as we start developing the idea, I'm not God, I'm a servant of God. And all I have to do is develop this consciousness of service. Service of God, service of God's devotees, service of God's creation, because a devotee sees everywhere Krishna. Everything is connected with Krishna. Everywhere is the hand of Krishna. So everything is to be used in service of Krishna, and everything can be served also. So that is the correct way of self-realization. In fact, the devotees, they lament. For them, there is no lamentation. They are always happy, engaged in devotional service. Mahaprabhu said, Anandam Buddhivardhanam. This chanting of the holy name gives so much of pleasure. But then the devotees are lamenting. Why? Devotees are lamenting because there are so many conditioned souls who are suffering here, away from Krishna, away from the process of bhakti of Krishna. So they are suffering. And the devotees know that they'll continue suffering. They'll go on through the repeated cycle of birth, death, old age, disease. And this creates lamentation. Not that a devotee thinks, oh, I have become a devotee or somehow or other, I have been saved by Prabhupada, so now I can enjoy, let the others rot, go to hell. I don't care. That's not devotional service. Because that's not what pleases Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, one who gives this message to others is most dear to me. So the devotee wants to please Krishna. Devotee takes all kinds of risks to please Krishna by preaching to others. Look at Srila Prabhupada, look at Jesus Christ, how much risk they took. Haridas Thakur, how much risk and how much beatings. He was beaten up in 22 marketplaces. But still he would not give up chanting of the holy names. Not just him chanting, he would go around and tell people to chant. So these are the devotees. They are very dear to Krishna. And that is really self-realization. That is the effect of self-realization. The word Paren is very significant. Para means transcendental, untinged by material contamination. Full consciousness that one is an eternal servant of the Lord is called Parabhakti. If one has any identification with material things and executes devotional service for attainment of some material gain, that is Vidha Bhakti, contaminated Bhakti, one can actually become liberated by execution of Parabhakti. So Parabhakti and Vidha Bhakti, Para is completely pure, no tinge of any desire other than to serve Krishna. And Vidha Bhakti, there are some desires, plenty of desires. So it's a Mishrit Bhakti, like mixture. So that takes time, long time to purify ourselves. Another word mentioned here is Sarvagya. The super soul sitting within the heart is all cognizant. He knows I may forget my past activities due to the change of body. But because the Supreme Lord as Paramatma is sitting within me, he knows everything. Therefore, the result of my past karma or past activities is awarded to me. I may forget, but he awards me suffering or enjoyment for the misdeeds or good deeds of my past life. One should not think that he is freed from reaction because he has forgotten the actions of his past life. Reactions will take place, and what kind of reactions there will be is judged by the super soul, the witness. So, of course, we said by doing bhakti, all the prarabdha, all the karmas are burned to ashes, and that's what the Nectar Devotion says. But still, there could be karma, that reaction that could be given by Krishna. And also, bhakti means that pure devotional service, that parabhakti that Prabhupada is talking about here. If we are not doing parabhakti, if we are in the process of performing mishra bhakti, mixture, then we will still have karma to deal with, our own karma from the so many past lives we have been through. So reactions will take place, and what kind of reactions there will be is judged by the super soul, the witness. What kind of reaction, when, how, where, all Krishna's arrangement. But at the same time, we have to understand that I should not become a source of reaction for others. Means I should not become thinking that, oh, this devotee is going to, I'm going to plot this thing against him And then we can all justify it saying, oh, this is a reaction, Prabhu. This is for your purification. This happened. Krishna arranged it. Krishna can arrange whatever he wants. But I should not become that instrument on my own. Krishna can make me an instrument unknowingly. That is different story. But if I knowingly become an instrument or try to become an instrument, try to plot anything against the devotee, okay, the devotee is getting his reaction, that's for sure. But I am creating more karma for myself. Where is the logic in that? Why should I do that? Have I become judgmental? We have to see ourselves. We have to look within that introspection has to go on every day and every moment of the day. Have I become judgmental? Or have I person, maybe Krishna forgot or Krishna doesn't know what he is doing, so let me take the role of Krishna. Let me give him some punishment. Krishna knows what he is doing. Krishna does what he is doing, what he wants to do, whenever he wants to do. Why I have to create karma for myself? It doesn't make sense at all. Even if somebody is doing something nonsense that we can see and feel and we want to react, hold back. Let Krishna take care of that person. And Krishna will, definitely he will, whenever he feels it is right. Problem comes when we are in a position of authority for a devotee. So then we think it is for the best of the society or for the best of the temple, or the best of that devotee I'm acting in this way. Then we have to, again, as I said, we have to do introspection. Am I really acting for the best of that particular devotee? Am I really acting in the interest of the society, in the interest of the temple? Or is it something in me that I'm acting on? Is there something, some personal motivation that I have? That I have to check. And obviously, Paramatma is there to check. Even if I act wrongly, Paramatma is there and then I will get the reaction. Definitely, I will get the reaction. So, in front of Paramatma, no justification will work. He knows what I did and why I did. So that's why devotional service is very, one has to be very, very careful dealing with devotees. Very careful. So we don't know when we can commit offense. We don't know when we're going to commit some karmic reactions for ourselves that we're going to take the reaction later on, because we are not performing pure, completely pure devotional service that can burn up all the reactions. Krishna says, "Ye yatha mam prapadyante tas tathaiva bhajami." As one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. So if we are just performing devotional service, mixture, mishrit, not fully pure, then we'll get the reactions accordingly. So some protection will be there by the mercy of Krishna, but the reaction will be there. So we have to be very careful. And even if we don't take any action against a devotee, we love, and this is the best thing to do, we love to gossip, we love to spread rumors, we love to talk about him or her. Well, if we do that, we still have some reactions waiting for us. We can say, oh, I'm just talking so I can be saved or others can be saved or whatever we have to see what's inside us first of all. Is it really for that? Or is it we're getting some juice out of it? So the reactions. And these actually because of these actions that we do, commit, instead of engaging in the we engage in other things because obviously we have the propensity, we have those sanskaras. From conditioned life, we are trying to move towards liberated life, spiritual life. So it will take time. Like previous verses we read, how Kardamuni accepted the vow of Mauna, no speaking. And Prabhupada explained Mauna also. He did Mauna means without speaking, or Mauna could be one only speaks about Krishna, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's glories, nothing else. How many hours of the day we do that, and how many hours of the day we talk of everything else except Krishna. So that way it will take time for our purification, complete purification that Kardamuni is having right now. Text 46. Atmanam sarvabhuteshu bhagvantam avasthitam apashyat sarvabhutani bhagavati ati cha atmani. He began to see that the Supreme Personality of God is resting on him because he is the super soul of everyone. That everyone is existing on the Supreme Personality of God does not mean that everyone is also God. This is also explained in the Gita. Everything is resting on him, the Supreme Lord, but that does not mean that the Supreme Lord is also everything. This mysterious position has to be understood by highly advanced devotees. There are three kinds of devotees: the neophyte devotee, the intermediate devotee, and the advanced devotee. The neophyte devotee does not understand the techniques of devotional service, but simply offers devotional service to the deity of the temple. The intermediate devotee must understand who God is, who is the devotee, who is the non-devotee, who is innocent, and he deals with such persons differently. But a person who sees that the Lord is sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart, and that everything is depending or existing on the transcendental energy of the Supreme Lord, is in the highest devotional position. So again, we can see ourselves where we stand. And these are all called Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Uttam Adhikari. Means Adhikari, they have the right to perform devotional service. But Kanishta Adhikari, there are chances that he falls down. There are very good chances. So this is why Prabhupada always stressed that at least come to the level of Madhyam Adhikari. At least get there. If not Uttam Adhikari, come to the level. So means then he understands who's God, who's a devotee, who's not devotee, and who's an envious person, or who's innocent. And he deals with God. But we have to slowly come to the level of Uttama. Means we see Paramatma everywhere, in everyone's heart, and how everything is dependent on existing based on the Supreme. Everything. It's hard. Just like now this coronavirus. We have to see Krishna's hand. Krishna wanted to give this virus, send this virus to obviously to annihilate a few people, and then make sure that everybody understands that we are not independent and we are not the Lord. The Supreme Lord cannot be affected by some little microbe or coronavirus. But the people do get affected. They lost their lives. And so much of turmoil, so much of chaos is there because of one microbe. Or there could be just like we experienced earlier, riots between Hindus and Muslims. Ultimately, Krishna is in control of everything, whatever is happening. Whenever we go through this kind of situation, we don't realize, obviously. We are not at that level. But nothing can happen without the sanction of Krishna and without him being in control of everything. There is no such thing that can happen in the world, in the whole universe, or in any of the universes. He is Jagannath, Lord of the universe. There was, I believe it was in Srirangam, that the deity of Radharani, well, in Srirangam, I don't know how come Radharani, I don't know, someone mixing this story or incident, or it really happened, or maybe it happened some other place. The deity of Radharani was stolen, and because of this Muslim invaders, and then she left. She was, the deity was taken to Delhi, and after many years, the devotees somehow disguised, and then they went into the room where all the devotees, deities that were stolen from. There's so many temples they were kept, and then the deity was brought back to Srirangam. It's a big story. But anyway, the acharyas, on how they explained it, they said, oh, Radharani got angry at Krishna for something, so she left. Now she came back. Now just imagine all the people who were involved in this, whether they were Muslim invaders or whether they were the devotees or the general public, how much they went through. Invaders killing so many people and breaking deities and stealing deities, and the pujaris getting killed, and the general public getting killed, and so much of plan was going on how to bring the deity back, and risking their lives. The devotees went, and the Acharya, oh, Radharani got angry at Krishna, and she left. Now, when the anger was subsided, she came back. Well, that is also true, because which invader, or whether it is Muslim or whether any invader, can be more powerful than Krishna? That does not mean we don't take care of the deities. I'm not saying that we don't secure them and we don't protect them. That doesn't mean that. But ultimately, we have to see Krishna's hand everywhere. We have to be able to see. So that is the stage we have to come to. Ichhadvesha vihinena sarvatra samachetasa bhagavad bhakti yuktena prapta bhagavati gati. Freed from all hatred and desire, Kardamuni, being equal to everyone because of discharging uncontaminated devotional service, ultimately attained the path back to Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, only by devotional service can one understand the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord, and our understanding Him perfectly in His transcendental position, enter into the kingdom of God. The process of entering into the kingdom of God is called Tripad Bhuti Gati, or the path back home, back to Godhead. So Tripad bhuti. So three-path bhuti is why? Because spiritual world is three times. Three-fourths of the whole creation is spiritual world and one-fourth is material world. So three-path and ek-path here. Of course, this is for our understanding because we are limited by time and space. Otherwise, there is no limit to the spiritual world. There is no limit that it can only be 5 billion miles or 5 billion square miles. No, there cannot be. So this is just for our understanding. Otherwise, spiritual world is always expanding. Because there is no limit. Nobody can put any limit on the spiritual world. Karda Muni, by his perfect devotional knowledge and service, achieved this ultimate goal, which is known as Bhagavati Gati. So Karda Muni, wonderful person, wonderful devotee, did so much of tapasya, got purified, and then married Devhuti and had Lord Kapil Dev as a son, but still he left everything, went to the forest, and now he got ultimate goal of life. So here ends chapter 24. Now we can start chapter 25. Oh, wonderful title, The Glories of Devotional Service, chapter 25. Text 1. Shaunak uvacha kapilastatra sankhyaata bhagvanatma mayaya jata swayamaja sakshat atma pragyaptaye pranam. Sri Shaunak said, although he is unborn, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took birth as Kapila Muni by his internal potency. He descended to disseminate transcendental knowledge for the benefit of the whole human race. So this chapter and maybe one more chapter, these are the questions asked by Mother Devhuti and Kapil Dev, Lord Kapil Dev answered. And Prabhupada, he made this as a book, Teachings of Lord Kapila, the son of Devhuti, or Prabhupada's disciple. They released it as a book, separate book. So one is Prayers of Queen Kunti, that is another book, and Teachings of Lord Kapila, the son of Devhuti. Of course, the teachings came because the questions that were asked by Mother Devhuti. So these two ladies and also others, they really acted as acharyas, even though they are asking questions, or Kunti Devi was offering prayers, but that's also the symptom of an acharya. And they're recognized by all the acharyas in the past, the contributions of Mother Kunti Devi and Mother Devhuti. And of course, during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, Ganga Mata Goswamini and Ma Janva, so many lady acharyas in there. The word Atma Pragyaptai indicates that the Lord descends for the benefit of the human race to give transcendental knowledge. Material necessities are quite sufficiently provided for in the Vedic knowledge, which offers a program for good living conditions and gradual elevation to the platform of goodness. In the mode of goodness, one's knowledge expands. On the platform of passion, there is no knowledge, for passion is simply an impetus to enjoy material benefits. On the platform of ignorance, there is no knowledge and no enjoyment, but simply life almost like that of animals. But some people even enjoy that kind of life. They enjoy it. Just eat, drink, and be merry and live like animals. Get up whenever we want to, sleep whenever we want to, eat all sorts of nonsense, and drink all sorts of nonsense, and have relationships, different kind of relationships. That's all animal life actually. But people don't know any better. They just don't know. And they think this is the ultimate goal. Any party, even office party that one goes to, that I happen to attend now, all they talk about is liquor. All they can think of is alcohol. I'm like, what, what pleasure do you guys get out of it? There's no pleasure in this. But that's all they can talk about. How I got drunk on that day and what did I do after I got drunk. Like, so, so what? But it's simply life, almost like of animals. The Vedas are meant to elevate one from the mode of ignorance to the platform of goodness. When one is situated in the mode of goodness, he is able to understand knowledge of the self or transcendental knowledge. This knowledge cannot be appreciated by any ordinary man. Therefore, since a disciplic succession is required, this knowledge is expounded either by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself or by His bona fide devotee. So that is why knowledge is so important. And this is the reason Prabhupada said that Krishna sent him to give out these books, which, according to Prabhupada, are going to be the law books of ISKCON for next 10,000 years. For next 10,000 years till when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement will spread all over the world, next 10,000 years. So these books will remain. So that, why? Because this knowledge is very important. Without knowledge, one cannot really function properly without understanding what he has to do, what the goal is and how to perform, how to attain that goal, what should be our activities and relationship with Krishna. What is that relationship? It all is based on knowledge. This knowledge cannot be appreciated by any ordinary man. Therefore, since a disciplic succession is required, this knowledge is expounded either by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself or by His bona fide devotee. Shaunak Muni also states here that Kapila, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, took birth or appeared simply to appreciate and disseminate transcendental knowledge. Simply to understand that one is not matter but spirit soul, I am by nature Brahman, is not sufficient knowledge for understanding the self and his activities. One must be situated in the activities of Brahman. That I am spirit soul, I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi is not good enough. Why? It's just like if a boy goes to engineering college and he studies hard, passes all the exams, and then he gets a degree that he is a so-and-so engineer, or he has completed his coursework of engineering. But if it doesn't work as an engineer, is it still called an engineer? So similarly, those who say Aham Brahmasmi or I am spirit soul, they understand, yes, they are your spirit soul, but then you have to work on the level of spirit soul, which is to serve the Supreme. So until one serves the Supreme with the right knowledge, with the right consciousness, then he cannot be considered as at the same level as Supreme. One must be situated in the activities of Brahman. Knowledge of those activities is explained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. Such transcendental knowledge can be appreciated in human society, but not in animal society, as clearly indicated here by the word nirna, for the human beings. Human beings are meant for regulated life. By nature, there is regulation in animal life also, but that is not like the regulated life as described in the scriptures or by the authorities. Human life is regulated life, not animal life. In regulated life only can one understand transcendental knowledge. So this regulated life for human beings is basically to, well, what is regulation? Regulation means to guide us properly on the path of transcendental knowledge. So we can get our qualifications to understand this knowledge. Just like when we did engineering, we had to lead a regulated life. It's not like we could get up anytime we wanted to, or we could study or not study, take the exams, not take the exam, and still pass the exams, and we think we can become an engineer. No, they had to be regulations. So classes are there at particular time, so we were supposed to attend the classes. So these are the regulations. And then the project work is there, homework is there, and then the exams are there. So these are the regulations. So that is important to understand any knowledge, forget about transcendental. So for transcendental knowledge, regulated life is there, 4 principles, 16 rounds. And then somehow by Krishna's Prabhupada's arrangement, we have this class every day. So we can listen, we can read Prabhupada's books. So some system or other we have to adapt in our life if we want to make progress or if we want to understand this transcendental knowledge. And actually speaking, this class is not enough. One has to do self-study as well. And that too regulated, not like, okay, I'll read one page of Bhagavad Gita today and tomorrow, one page of Nectar of Devotion and some tomorrow, day after that, something else. No. Pick up a book, finish that book, read it thoroughly, from cover to cover, then pick up another book. But we have to get into the habit of self-study as well. And that will help us make progress or understand Prabhupada's books better. Text 2. Nahi asya varmashana punsam varimna sarvayoginam vishwato shuta devasya uri tripyanti maya sabha. Shaunak continued. There is no one who knows more than the Lord himself. No one is more worshipable or more mature a yogi than he. He is therefore the master of the Vedas, and to hear about him always is an actual pleasure of the senses. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that no one can be equal to or greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in the Vedas also. Eko Bahunam Yavidadhati Kama. He is a supreme living entity and is supplying the necessities of all of the living entities. Thus, all of the living entities, both Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva, are subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So even Vishnu Tattva are subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And this is even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that. Ekela Ishvara Krishna or Sabhritya. There is only one Ishvara, that is Krishna. Rest everybody is a servant, even the Vishnu Tattvas. The same concept is confirmed here. Nahi yasya varshmana pumsam. Amongst the living entities, no one can surpass the Supreme Person because no one is richer, more famous, stronger, more beautiful, wiser, or more renowned than he. These qualifications make him the Supreme Godhead, the cause of all causes. Yogis are very proud of performing wonderful feats, But no one can compare to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who is associated with the Supreme Lord is accepted as a first-class yogi. Devotees may not be as powerful as the Supreme Lord, but by constant association with the Lord, they become as good as the Lord himself. Sometimes the devotees act more powerfully than the Lord. Of course, that is the Lord's concession. So sometimes devotees act more powerfully by the mercy of the Lord. Like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu, when he met Vasudeva Vipra, and seeing the devotion and dedication of Vasudeva, Mahaprabhu said, I'm sold to Vasudeva Vipra. He can sell me, or he controls me, he can give me to anybody he likes. It wasn't his person, it was his bhakti that captured or controlled Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Supreme Lord is still Supreme Lord. It's his, out of his love for his devotees, he can say these things. But that doesn't mean he is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is always that way. And Prabhupada, like he mentioned here, and this has come up again and again, the Supreme Lord, Bhagwan, means one who has the six opulences in full. The strength, the knowledge, the fame, the money, the beauty, and the renunciation. He has it in full, complete. Means if we want to impress him, how can we impress him? You think we can impress him by our knowledge? He is full in knowledge. We can only have some limited knowledge because our tiny brains, how much knowledge we can have. Can we impress him by our money? What's the money? Our money, we might have billions of dollars, but how can that be equal to what he has? You can't even compare. This is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna when he showed him all his opulences. Yat yat vibhuti mat sattam shrimat tattadeva avagachatvam mam tejo ansha sambhavam. Whatever opulence you see in this material world, it's just a tejo ansh. It's a spark of my splendor. So it doesn't attract Krishna. Even the renunciation, how renounced we can be, and how much renounced Krishna is. He's full. The example of his renunciation is given. Sometimes devotees say, oh, because he left Radharani in the middle of Raslila, that's his renunciation. That is, but that was to actually to heighten the mood of love in gopis and Radha. His renunciation is, even if a person doesn't believe in the existence of God, in the existence of Krishna, or even if a person says Krishna has no hands, no legs, no mouth, means he is Nirakar, or atheist, Nastic says there is no God. He still maintains them. He's not attached to what people think. He still maintains them. He still takes care of them. He's still, as Super Soul, he's still with them. So that is renunciation. So we cannot impress him, we cannot attract him by any of these qualities that Krishna has in full. Only thing that attracts him is our bhakti, our mood to serve him. A service, loving devotion service. That's all. Nothing else. So that is a really a yogi. Anyone who's associated with the Supreme Lord is accepted as a first-class yogi. Okay, next words, paragraph. Also used here is the word varimna, meaning the most worshipful of all yogis. To hear from Krishna is a real pleasure of the senses. Therefore, he is known as Govinda. For by his words, by his teachings, by his instructions, by everything connected with him, he enlivens the senses. Whatever instructs us from the transcendental platform, and his instructions, being absolute, are non-different from him. Hearing from Krishna or by his expansion or plenary expansion like Kapila is very pleasing to the senses. Bhagavad Gita can be read or heard many times, but because it gives pleasure, the more one reads Bhagavad Gita, the more he gets appetite to read and understand it. And every time he gets new enlightenment. That is the nature of the transcendental message. Similarly, we find that the transcendental happiness in Srimad Bhagavatam, the more we hear and chant the glories of the Lord, the more we become happy. That's the crux. So we have to engage ourselves in more and more these literatures, chanting, hearing about the glories of the Lord, and just pass our life this way instead of any other way possible. And if we do this way, then guaranteed we'll go back to God. So this is full of pleasure now. Bhakti, this is what bhakti is. Full of pleasure right now, the process. And in the end, it's more pleasure. So it's completely that win-win situation that we talk about. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments. I thought I saw Manhar Krishna Prabhu also. So Prabhuji, you have to make some comments. Okay, so I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.